Have you ever wondered why two people living in the same world can have completely different lives? One lives in misery, while the other rises above. The secret is not luck, it's mindset. Stay with me, because the story you're about to hear might just change the way you see your own life. Welcome to Whispering Life Stories. Today, we share a powerful story, the journey of a beggar who discovered that the way you think shapes the way you live. In a bustling city, where the streets hummed with the footsteps of busy people, there lived a beggar named Arjun. Every morning, Arjun would sit at the same corner near the old market, his palms outstretched, waiting for a coin, a crumb, or even a kind glance. His clothes were tattered, his hair unkempt, and his spirit, though once hopeful, had faded into weariness. The world, in his eyes, was a harsh place. He saw himself as a victim of fate, cursed by circumstances beyond his control. As the days blended into each other, Arjun found solace only in blaming others for his plight. If only my parents had been rich, he thought. If only I hadn't fallen ill as a child. If only people were kinder. These thoughts became a heavy chain, binding him to the cold pavement on which he sat. Every rejection, every hurried step that passed him by seemed to confirm what he already believed, that life would never change. One chilly afternoon, as Arjun shivered beneath a gray sky, an old man approached. Unlike the others who passed with indifference, this man stopped and looked directly into Arjun's eyes. For a moment, they simply sat in silence. Then the old man spoke, his voice warm but firm. "Why do you sit here every day and accept this fate?" Arjun, startled by the question, replied bitterly, "What else can I do? The world has turned its back on me. I am powerless." The old man smiled gently. "Powerless? Only if you believe it. Change your thoughts and you change your life." Arjun frowned, unsure if he should laugh or cry at such a statement. "Easy for you to say. You're not the one sitting here, waiting for mercy from strangers." The old man knelt beside him. "I once was. But I realize the greatest prison is not the one we are put in, but the one we build in our minds. If you start to see opportunities instead of obstacles, if you look for a way forward instead of reasons to stay where you are, your life will begin to change. Try it, just for today." With that, the old man pressed a single coin into Arjun's palm and disappeared into the crowd. That night, as Arjun lay beneath a thin blanket, the old man's words echoed in his mind. "Change your thoughts, and you change your life." He looked at the coin in his hand. It wasn't much, but it was something. For the first time in years, he wondered what would happen if he tried to believe in a different story. One where he was not just a victim, but someone capable of more. The next morning, instead of sitting passively, Arjun decided to greet the people passing by. He smiled, offered kind words, and thanked those who spared a moment for him. At first, most ignored him, but a few smiled back. One woman, noticing his polite demeanor, offered to buy him breakfast. Over the meal, they talked, and she shared news of a nearby temple that needed someone to help clean the courtyard in exchange for a warm lunch. With nothing to lose, Arjun went to the temple. The work was hard, but when he finished, he felt a strange sense of pride, a feeling he hadn't known in years. The monks thanked him and invited him to return the next day. Each day, Arjun's confidence grew. He began to see that small opportunities often wore the disguise of hard work. Week by week, Arjun's life started to shift. He saved a few coins from the meals he earned. He cleaned himself up with water from the temple well. He learned to fix small things around the temple, and soon, the monks trusted him with more responsibilities. One day, a visitor to the temple, impressed by Arjun's dedication, offered him a job at a local tea stall. At first, Arjun was nervous. He had never held a proper job, but he remembered the old man's words and reminded himself that his thoughts were the only thing standing in his way. With each cup of tea he served, each table he cleaned, his belief in himself grew stronger. He began to dream of a future where he was not just a beggar, but a man of purpose. Years passed. Arjun's life transformed in ways he once thought impossible. He saved enough to rent a small room. He learned new skills, made friends, and eventually opened a humble food stall of his own. He hired others who were down on their luck, sharing with them the lesson that had changed his life. Change your thoughts, and you change your life. The beggar story teaches us, your circumstances don't define you, your mindset does. When you choose hope over fear, growth over excuses, and action over waiting, your entire life begins to shift. Arjun's journey is a reminder that the world outside may not always be in our control, but the world inside, our mind, our attitude, our willingness to try, is always ours to shape. So next time you find yourself stuck, ask not what the world can do for you, but what you can do with the world you've been given. The smallest shift in perspective can create the biggest change in your life. If this story touched you, don't forget to subscribe to Whispering Life Stories. Share your thoughts in the comments, and let us know, what mindset shift are you ready to make today?